doing a podcast at a comedy club.
They're clockwork oranging us.
Yeah, but we're just in some either asylum getting a experimental therapy or...
And we think we're at a comedy club.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And when this is done, we're going to go upstairs and murder doctors.
Whoa.
Am I the only one picking up that vibe?
Or we already murdered the doctors and we came back down here to like do this thing, but we forgot we murdered the doctors.
I never forget.
We're
when I
rolling.
murder.
Yeah, we're
good,
rolling.
Good. Yeah.
Did we murder the doctors or not, man?
Is there any way you could find out for us with our
look
dead
into
doctors?
that light and tell me you didn't murder the doctors?
I murdered them. Okay.
We killed everyone.
Listen, I want to explain why I had to murder the doctors. That's like insane people will be like, well, here's the reason why I disemboweled the doctor is because I could read his entrails, you know, and with the quantum physics shit happening right now, if I don't look at his entrails, I won't know what to do about this certain particle accelerator, you know, so we've got to like stop that shit.
All that made perfect sense to me.
Have you ever fucked a large intestine?
Hold on a second.
As it dangles out of someone's, I don't want to say guts.
Okay.
Why?
That's not technical enough
Let's go
for where I wanted to go with it.
Okay. But I've had my guts fucked.
You
That
have?
came out wrong.
Someone's been
You know
up in
what I
those
mean.
guts?
Yeah.
You've had your guts fucked?
I mean, like
That's
someone
cultural
gets in there.
appropriation.
Which culture, man?
Which culture, yeah.
Just the blacks, Black
Wait a minute.
Americans.
What are you talking about?
Black Americans like to
Duncan's
get up in them
slinging
guts.
over there.
Is that true?
What does this mean? My dick's so small, I don't even know what that is. Are you talking about penis size? I don't even know what that fucking means.
Well, my ex was pretty big, and he's not black.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Which ex?
Ronnie.
Yeah, but come on.
What?
I mean, Ronnie, how did he identify? You know?
I don't know.
Probably
He
black.
probably Mexican.
Oh, all right. Well,
You know, the
Yeah,
truth
he
of
grew
the
up in-
matter is, it's a romantic thing to say.
He grew up in like Los Feliz.
Up in your guts?
yeah,
up in
he
your
grew up
guts.
in her guts.
It's very romantic.
He grew up in my guts.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Tell me.
Hey, I think our producer's vaping right now. That's very dangerous.
Oh, that's so gay.
Just so you know.
Dangerous.
The kids are dying because of this. It's fake vitamin E, bro.
By the way, he looks like he's hoping to die. Is that correct, Todd? No, he says no. He's happy.
By
He's
far
fine.
the coolest Todd I've ever known. By
You
far.
mean like he's not committing vape suicide?
That's what's going on.
No, I'm gonna. I'm kidding. I would never vape. I'm not
Thank
that
you.
douchey. I'm gonna go back to chain smoking.
That's what it's all about.
Unfiltered
That's cool
cigarettes.
As fuck, man.
No
Nothing
filter.
cooler than that.
Right?
An unfiltered goddamn parliament, like a real hero.
Like a human.
Like a war hero.
Do you still smoke?
No.
I saw kids. I was driving my kid to preschool, drove by Calabasas High School.
Whoa.
About a quarter mile. That's how far back these kids in their cars that are way nicer than mine are parked along the street. Like we're talking like 16-year-olds driving Teslas and
Yeah, sure.
It's Calabasas, of
and
course.
there's two kids standing on the side sharing a cigarette. And I was
Sharing?
Like, yeah, they were sharing a cigarette, and I was like,
That's weed,
I
isn't
go, look at these fucking kids. It wasn't weed for sure. And I just thought, look at these fucking kids. After all this time and after everything we know, still smoking cigarettes and still looking cool as fuck, man.
What do you think is it that makes it look cool to smoke?
I'm guessing it's that you can see the pure satisfaction.
Is it
And
that?
You see the deep breath that they take? It's almost like meditating in
They
public.
just look cool. And since we 100% know that it's fucking terrible for you, to do it is just like such a punk rock,
But
like
wait,
fuck life.
okay, hold on. Do you think that it looks cool because we have been
Programmed.
programmed
Yeah.
by like a massive
By big tobacco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
hope
it
so.
looks cool.
The Marlboro Man was sexy as fuck.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
I hate it when they took that down on Sunset.
But
I used
they're-
to touch myself
But when
to
you
that.
if you like go
Who
all
didn't?
the way back to the first person who like fucking rolled the first thing that
Engines.
was smoked.
Engines.
So
Okay.
that first person though, you get fire. That's the first thing. That's already crazy.
Yeah.
But now fire's not enough. You take some shit and you figure out a way to get it in your mouth and suck in smoke.
Yeah.
Now
that
you're on my neighborhood.
Was like that
Eating,
still
yeah.
look cool.
You know, eating this plant isn't good enough. What if, hear me out, guys, what if we rolled it into paper and smoked it? And everyone else was like, bro, you're fucking crazy.
No, I think they were like, that sounds cool as fuck.
Probably.
I bet there wasn't a period in smoking where anyone was like, but somehow with vaping,
Yeah.
people are like, God,
Yeah.
that's just douchey.
Yeah, from the beginning.
'Cause-
Like nobody ever thought that was hot. Like
No.
or sexy.
No,
Or-
from the beginning it seemed absolutely embarrassing.
Ridiculous.
But to me, it just seems odd that as humans, we have fashion opinions on the way people inhale shit into their lungs. Like, that's weird, right? Like, what is why
everything's
what's the
a
difference,
look?
really?
Yeah. What's the difference?
I mean, I just hope that there's a generation of people out there right now who are going to get a much moister form of cancer. That's my dream for the world. Moister?
What do you mean? Like,
well, you fill up your lungs with water with the vape.
Yeah, because it's vape.
So
it's a vapor.
It's moist.
As opposed to smoke, which is just like dry carcinogen.
Wait, do you mind if I look something up on my phone?
Please do.
The name of the vaping disorder. Have you seen this shit?
No.
But to me, it is kind of like I do like I think it's a little hacky to talk about simulation shit at this point, but there is a part of me that's kind of like, all right, this definitely isn't real. Like, because the name of the vaping disorder, it sounds like, it sounds like the name of something that would kill you after vaping. It's called
Vapalicious?
No, it's got a name like something. It's like Cobra.
Yeah.
It's like a name like that, or like Lance. It's got a really embarrassing. It's an embarrassing thing to die of. That's all. It doesn't have a cool name. Yeah, it's not like Ebola.
He got Lance.
Right.
It's something. There's no service in this basement.
He's got Cobra. Isn't that insurance?
It's
guys.
Cobra.
Duncan Trussell's here.
Hi, friends.
They knew who it was.
Good to be here.
Well, they know because the light is so bright on you. I'm gonna get a crick in my neck looking over at you from the new way this table's set up.
These are makeup mirrors, right? Remember these fucking things?
Yeah, when you would see them at the mall, and I would look at my weird deep pores or whatever that is. Like I try to pop blackheads.
It's a weird.
You ever do that?
Pop blackheads?
Yeah, like in the mall, like.
Not in the mall, but I definitely have love.
You have one of these at your house?
I love Reddit popping.
I'm sorry?
You know Reddit, the subreddit popping, which is videos of people popping blackheads?
No.
It's a whole genre on the internet.
I'm not big on
It's satisfying.
Reddit. I found out about it like a month ago.
I don't like Reddit because a lot of the people on there aren't that bright. But I do like it because someone...
Maybe it is for me. Hold on a second.
Someone found a photo...
Get out of here.
Someone found a photo from the late 1890s of a man with a bicycle, and it looks exactly like me. And I'm starting to think maybe I will get to travel through time eventually.
You might. You're
already
traveling through time.
Yeah.
If I haven't been to the 1890s
into
yet.
The future.
No, I want to go to the past, bro. Like, Nostradamus?
Yeah.
Like he predicted the future or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy who predicts the past.
Ooh.
The first guy who predicts the past.
Wait, is that
That's great.
Like 1930s, there's going to be a pretty vicious German ruler.
Okay.
And he's going to get into some crazy things and start really grouping people together.
You might be onto something.
And then he's going to try and take over Europe. And his name's going to be like Hiller.
Hisler,
maybe. Something very similar to that. Anyway,
I bet he has the same birthday as Duncan.
That is funny if you find out Nostradamus is just like a shitty fucking time traveler who wasn't very good at history.
He couldn't remember.
He barely remembered anything. He's like, there's I don't know, a dude named Hisser or something. Histler. I don't know. He's some fucking asshole.
He traveled through time, but the only way you can successfully do it is to constantly be smoking opium.
Yeah.
And then
I think there's gonna be like a war in a place called like Ira. I don't know, desert area.
Rickle.
Starts with an I. I know that much.
That'd be so great.
Yeah, that would be the best. Well, we don't. I think that we are kind of seeing some shit go down right now that is implying that the way we understand time is not.
Do you believe in the parallel universes and things like that?
Well, I believe in
Just by the way, stick your hand and say hi to Mitzi. She's right in there.
Hello.
So.
I don't know. I don't know.
You just start fingering her.
Tell Duncan to give Amy action.
Why is that the first thing you think I'd do if I saw Mitzi's ghost, Eleanor? That's so fucked up.
This is the Comedy Store. You finger bang the ghost. It's what they need.
It's just so weird. Your version of reality is crazy.
She's.
Do you see the ghost? Literally, I never in my life have I thought about fingering a ghost. Ever.
I'm just saying, if you were trying to feel it, and all of a sudden you were just by accident.
Even weirder.
Okay, maybe I'm lonely, Duncan.
Why am I feeling a ghost? Why am I like reaching
Wouldn't
like
you
this?
wanna-
Why wouldn't you?
Holy shit, a ghost. Proof that there's life after death. Let me reach exactly where its crotch
Duncan,
is.
listen,
See if she's
man.
moist. Maybe this podcast is all about moist.
Are you saying that she's a vape ghost? I think, in this crazy society we're living in right now, the only way you can finger bang someone without permission is if they're a ghost.
Ooh.
Why is there not consent with a ghost?
Trust me,
Fucking
there's
weirdo,
never
you
consent.
ghost creep. You're like the worst ghost hunter.
Raper.
You're like a horrible ghost hunter. Like it's
I
not
feel
a
something in this room. I'm feeling it right. Did you hear that?
creepy
I feel it.
ghost
And it's
hunter.
just
I saw a little white light go over there. Hold on. Hold
Holy
on.
shit, man. Like ghosts, that's how they get ghosts out of a house is bring you in. Because they're like, oh no, you got to go, man. That's not the ghost hunter you want.
Rick and I have perverted heads, I guess.
You guys
I
are
don't know.
horny.
I,
You're
maybe
horny.
we are. Maybe.
Look,
Well,
It's okay. You can be
You're
horny.
married. Shouldn't you be horny?
What do you mean? What's that?
Oh.
Horny?
Yeah.
No, my wife and I have a great sex life, pretty
good.
much. I mean,
good,
you
good.
know,
but you
it's
have a
fucked up.
baby, so it's
What?
hard.
It's still fucked up.
baby's not
Yeah.
involved.
But it's still not. From what I've heard, you hear people have a baby and they're like, we haven't had sex in 8 months.
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
Not
sad.
you.
We hump a lot. Yeah, we
in
like,
front of the baby.
You got that giant
What
fucking
the fuck,
hog.
Eleanor?
What is
What
it?
has happened to you? Honestly, are you what? The last time I never have seen you be like so sexual. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? Are you eating some new herbal supplement? It's like me
She's
fingering
been-
Mitzi's ghosts fucking in front of my baby. You're kinky.
She's been drinking Extends for the last week. Nothing but.
You fucking in front of your baby.
must
Does
sit the
Mitzi's
baby
ghost
up.
come? Does she watch as you fuck in front of your baby? Does she hold the baby? Do you reach over and finger
Duncan, I'm
Mitzi's
sorry.
ghost asshole while she watches you and your wife fuck in front of your baby that she's holding?
This is one of the best impressions I've
So
ever heard.
sorry. That's a great.
She's
that's
back
a
to smoking a pack a day.
By the way, that was spot on, Duncan. Spot on impression.
Oh,
That's
no, I do. I
At
do
first, I was
terrible
like, "Is that
impressions, not like you
PJ
at all.
Stansberry?" No, that's Eleanor.
That's just a.
Yeah.
I have like 3 shades of impression, and that's one of them. I don't do it.
Did you ever do impressions on stage?
I
No.
can't. I can't. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't tune
But
in.
wait,
like
but
it.
you would do it through the puppet a little bit?
Kind of, but who am I doing
That
an
was the-
impression of? Just
That
like
was
a
the
hot-
puppet, as far as I knew. Is that
Oh,
not the
so
case?
sorry.
Well, yeah,
I don't want to
the
mess
puppet-
anything up. Sorry to.
Well, it's a common misconception. People see a puppet and they think there's no way that's alive. He's
Right.
throwing his voice or something like that.
Because they're
But yeah,
fools and they don't understand the world.
You
The
know,
real
it's a
world.
big world, man. It's a big world. Lots
Eleanor
of-
wanted me to ask this. Did you ever fuck that puppet or what?
define fuck.
Yeah. Little hobo. Did he get it?
One thing I will never do is define fuck,
Why?
because I want it to be whatever it needs to be.
Ooh, I
get
like
it.
that.
That's
No
cool.
regulations.
Yeah, I understand. Like, but still, it's like you're gonna have to do like some. It helps. Otherwise, the word becomes like nothing. It means nothing.
Nothing hotter than nothing.
I'm still in my
All
head.
right, but it's gonna be something to do with like having sex.
I'm a sexual nihilist, bro. Always have been. Always
That's what
have.
I keep thinking. If I have a daughter, I was coming here thinking if I have a fucking daughter, and like this makes
Rick
me
does,
think
so
someone
be
comes
careful.
over to date your daughter
Yeah.
and says to you, "I'm a sexual nihilist."
Who the fuck is that?
I have to. Oh shit!
Oh, that means you got to go
I
upstairs.
gotta go.
Is that
I
Adam?
gotta go.
Why don't you come in, Adam?
Adam,
Are you allowed to come in and sit in for
He's not
Duncan?
allowed to come in.
Come on,
How
Adam.
much time do I have, Adam? Now?
Yeah, he's had the light.
Thanks, dude. I'm going up right.
Okay, go up there, Duncan. We could bring
Duncan,
up whoever
do you want us to bring the
Duncan.
whole show upstairs?
Adam, look who's here.
Oh my God!
What?
Finally.
Finally.
We've been
Oh,
waiting a
we're going to
long
get
time.
canceled for sure for this one.
That I pulled.
I like all of this. See, here's the thing. We wanted to get Tommy, but he's not allowed in the building.
What's he doing?
Well, why don't you come by Taco Tuesdays? All right, I'm gonna do a set.
What kind of set you going to do, Tommy?
Well, I could do comedy. I'm the funniest one on the island by
That's
far.
weird. Really?
But probably gonna be singing. Okay. It's not just that though.
Are you going to showcase for Adam? We want to showcase for Adam?
Adam was listening. Okay, and he knew
Didn't
you got to
Mitzi-
challenge Rick.
Didn't she say you were the funniest?
Well, Mitzi said I was the funniest person at the building. And I know she said it because I just barely let her out from the water I was holding her under in. Well, It's not just that.
That's terrible. You were not holding me underneath the water,
Well.
Tommy. You were feeling me up.
Sometimes it's important to give her the Argus.
What's the Argus?
Well,
Hey, Argus.
Well, good to be here, everybody. Me and Tommy, a rather geriatric George Papard one time, and this is a true story. We're hanging out. It is Marky Post's 35th birthday.
That's very specific.
I'm doing cocaine with Todd Bridges.
How many syllables are in that cocaine
young
word?
Richard Mulligan. Joe Azuzu was there.
That's a whole cast
Joe
of Empty
Azuzu.
Nest. Oh,
Okay.
that's great.
It's rare that you can get multiple members of Empty Nest involved in anything.
It's always impressive to get them all
Empty
involved.
Nest fucking night courts.
Adam,
Crossover.
what's been going on? Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
The first
Thanks for-
time.
yeah,
This is very
thank you.
exciting.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a lot of young comics that are trying to get the
Yes,
inside scoop
and they listen
Yeah.
to this.
on how what is this guy looking for? And you gave a lot of really broad
Well,
statements
look, here's
just
the
now.
deal. We have about 150 people sign up every Monday.
Okay.
And,
Right.
All talented.
Yeah. No, it's difficult, man. It's like there's
Do you
more...
actually watch the open mic?
Yeah.
He
every
does,
Monday.
which is amazing.
Painful.
That's brutal.
It's got to be painful, but there's somebody that's going to come out.
Yeah.
There seems like there would be a needle in the haystack, only it's a dirty heroin needle, and we got to kick it out of here as quickly as possible.
Okay.
If you ever need an assistant to deliver the bad news to people, I'm your guy. You don't even have to pay me.
Would you call them or email them?
I would 100% call them because I want to hear their voice when I break their soul.
Maybe FaceTime with them so you can see their
I would drive to wherever they were at
with a video camera,
to
like with a
deliver the
camera
information
crew.
in person because I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Listen, Adam saw your showcase last night, and after carefully thinking about the complete lack of ability and talent that you have, we'd appreciate it if you don't sign up for the potluck anymore, let alone
Would you
ever become a paid regular.
Because some people could be bad, like
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
look at Sebastian.
I was just
Mitzi
thinking
never
the same
gave
person.
Sebastian
Yeah.
a chance.
Yeah.
He
That's exactly
was
right.
pretty. It was brutal to watch.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he didn't like when I said that to him on the podcast.
I remember I watched the
But it
tape.
was true.
I watched the tape of him where he opens with the week I had today. And it only got worse from there. But he was
And now
taking
he's
the advice of
Now he's selling out
Sandy
arenas.
Shore.
Yeah.
Well, he
Oh, yeah.
only took Sandy's class because he thought
He had it
he was
in.
getting in with Mitzi.
Yeah.
And then as he was in the class, she was like, if you guys are here because you think I'm going to get close to my mom, she hates me. And he was like, fuck. The check already cleared. Like,
The week Sandy had today.
I heard a great story about Artie and Norm once. Norm told Artie, he said, I'll probably butcher this fucking story, but it made me laugh so hard. He said, it was like some, I think it was a rap party for Dirty Work or something. And he was talking to Artie. Norm's like, hey, Artie, I need you watch Farley. Just watch him, all right? Because I need to make sure he's getting a little out of control, The fucking worst person to ask
Artie
to make sure that they don't do any drugs.
So
is
Artie's like,
Artie.
so
When
Farley's
you're
got
like,
the drugs? Okay.
And so Norm shows up like an hour later to the party, and he goes to Artie. He's like, Artie, I told you one fucking thing. Where's Farley? He's like, oh, dude. He's like, dude, it's not good. I just saw him going to the bathroom with Andy Dick. He's like, fucking Andy Dick. Oh shit. He's like, well, he's like, yeah. He's like, they're either doing drugs or he's sucking his dick or something.
you never know.
I was like, Jesus Christ, I hope he's high.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, I got to go up and fucking take care of the lineup.
Look
But
how
I'm
nervous
really-
he
I'm
is.
sorry.
All right.
I am nervous.
Adam, you
Hey,
do get
listen, you
nervous.
don't
I
have
like
to-
it.
Really
it is
nervous.
fun watching you sweat for a
Squirm?
change.
Oh, it's
don't.
so hot in here.
you don't have to
Oh,
worry.
that I mean, always
Yeah,
high
yeah.
here, huh?
Just so you know, everything you said is taken as the holy word.
Oh, fuck.
So,
Guys, you
We're
heard
gonna
it
cut
here.
a lot of that.
Holy
When-
word. We don't have an editor.
yeah.
Oh, we're about to.
That's how the Comedy Store podcast got an editor.
Guys, that's so amazing. Look at that. We just got
Look
an
at that.
editor.
Adam
Thank
Eget.
you, Adam. Eget.
Adam
Thank you.
Bartholomew Eget. It's what?
Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Adam Benjamin.
I knew it was a B.
More Jew names.
A-B.
Sorry. In a row. You got to keep them nice Jew names.
A-B-E.
So we're going to do this until Duncan comes down. But
his initials are Abe. I don't know that I like that.
Ooh.
I'm going to call him Abe from now on.
Abe. Well, let's do that. Oh, I hear the piano. That means Duncan's done.
And maybe he just got up, though, you know?
Satan.
It's hard to say.
That'd be hilarious. No, the guy, whoever was on, had the light. That just means, look at that. What's the matter? Oh, God. Like, we can't get rid of him now? Oh, God. Adam, you're right in front of the camera. Why would you put your ass cheek in front of the camera like that?
Hey, Abe.
Guys,
Abe.
that was Abe. A-B.
We're calling you Abe from now on. Is that cool?
Bye, Abe.
If I was the talent coordinator, this is how I would pick comedians.
Sorry about that blockage from his ass. Okay.
Yeah. Which camera am I talking into?
They're both right there.
Oh, those are them?
Okay.
If I was to be the talent
coordinator
coordinator here, I would base it completely on whether someone is funny.
Only.
End of story.
But what it sometimes it takes funny. It takes time to get funny.
Yeah, that's fine. Then you can showcase a bunch of times, and when you get funny, then I would pass you.
I almost took my life the other day.
Yeah.
I watched. I googled my name. It's a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
But I was looking for. I'm doing a show in Philadelphia, and my brother Johnny is producing it, and I was looking for a picture of me on stage. So I thought, all right, I have a few that
they're floating around from the Getty.
Right. Well, of course.
Yeah.
And it was on fire, so some of them got lost. Anyway, so I put I put my name in and I searched, and I was on YouTube, and I was like, oh shit, that's YouTube. I need to go to Google,
Images,
right? You know, I'm an idiot. So I looked. There was a video from, I don't know, when I was 4 months into stand up.
So good.
Is horrendous.
So good though. Probably.
It's not funny. On my stomach, I was like, what the fuck? And then you're reading the comments and like, this girl's terrible. No shit. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm 6 months in, whatever the fuck it was.
I'm so happy that I'm the only one who recorded my comedy sets when I used to be an impressionist. Because it is
So
terrible.
you weren't dumb enough to go sign something at the Ice House to let them put up?
No, was that
life.
Comedy Time or whatever it was?
Fuck me.
Every time someone would ask me to do that, I would be like, so what do I get? And they'd be like, exposure. And I'd be like, I don't want to expose myself. And they'd be like, well, it's really good. I go, what has anyone got out of it? Remember I went and met with some guy.
Yeah, I didn't get
who ended up
anything
being
out of it.
he like was an agent, and then he became the head of Comedy Time, and then he went back to being an agent.
Oh, I know who he is. It'll come to me.
But that guy, he just
I
kept
could see his face.
Yeah, he kept pushing exposure. I think Fraser Smith tried to get him to. He's coming in to watch it, buddy. And then he introduced
and he
me to
actually was a good manager. He just
long ago.
Yes.
And then he lost it all.
Yes.
And then started this scam. Kind of like what's that piece of shit that executive produced that show Laughs on Fox?
Good question. I don't even know. I feel like I've heard.
Yeah.
And I may have been. I was supposed to do that,
He's
but
like
I got stuck in New York.
He's like part owner of the Louisville Comedy Club. I can't remember him.
I'm terrible with that. I remember Laughs though, and I remember I had
there was a do not work because he didn't pay any of the comedians.
Right, and I was supposed to do it, and I got stuck in New York.
See,
I'm almost positive
you would have been
that's
tricked
the one.
into yet another.
But he got a lot of people to do it, right?
He got enough people. It was basically a glorified open mic on TV. But he always posts these shitty videos. It's like whatever his name is destroys hecklers, and then
Hofstadter?
Yeah,
Steve
Hofstetler.
Okay, maybe it was a different show. I was supposed to. Maybe he was the producer. I don't know. Yeah, he might have been. But there was a girl booking it.
I don't know.
And they were like, "Yeah, you can film at this time," and it was like this whole. But at that point, I was like maybe 5 years in, so you should film. Like Now, if Adam saw that set that I watched the other day,
yeah,
that would put me back at the Comedy Store 5 years.
I don't think anyone should ever film anything until they're 10 years in.
You might be right. I mean, I think I was just so anxious, and I started late, and I was older, and I was like, no, I need to.
If you're part of a minority group, then it's okay, because at that point, it's not required that you be skilled.
Jesus, Rick, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're saying like they just need more
I'm saying there's a lot of, hey, that person is 15% funny, but they fit a certain image that we would like
I see what you mean. Yeah.
To have, so let's definitely put them on something.
We need more Latin females or black females.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying. Okay. But there are funny people
100%.
out there in all different shapes and colors. It's just my thing is I feel
those
like
people get shot sometimes, but it just seems like, and I don't want to sound like an old crotchety Republican here, but Trump 2020.
Okay, I like where you're going.
If Donald Trump came out and said, we need to make comedy funny again, I would vote for him.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all he would have to do to get your vote.
Or if he was like, no more daylight savings time, I'd be like, I could forget about the other stuff. I support this guy.
I'm looking up this lady because I want to know if you've heard of this. It's called...
a lot of emoji work.
I know. I was just goofing around with Johnny Sanchez. So
okay.
It's called A Little Late with Lily Singh, Singh.
I don't know.
Singh?
I don't know who that is.
So this woman has like a late night talk show. She's Indian or something. Don't get mad at me. I don't know which one she is.
She's of a beautiful culture.
She is. You can tell she's definitely ethnic. Very pretty, beautiful girl.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of YouTuber, and she's on after Seth Meyers.
Wow, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Does she take over the Carson Daly spot?
Is that who was there?
I
don't watch late night shows. I hate that.
Yeah, I think there might be a different network. I think Carson Daly went after James Corden. I think he's opposite of Seth Meyers. So.
Okay, so whoever's
so we're talking like 1 in the morning.
Meyers, yeah.
Seth Meyers is NBC. He's right after Jimmy Fallon in the go ahead and fuck a dude. You don't know what you are.
He
lineup.
sent me a clip of her, and I watched it. Should I play it? It was brutal.
We don't have the rights to
You're
show
right.
that
You're
heavily
right.
produced, and we also don't want to scare away our listeners by putting horrible comedy on the.
I mean, I'm telling you.
Does she do bits as bad as Argus Hamilton tonight?
No, because she's alive. So
it's not a Crypt Keeper comedy show.
Kidding. No, she was. It was so fast. She was like, and I was like, geez. I mean, no breath, no. And then she was like, I'm a YouTuber. That's a thing. And I was like, okay, you gotta calm down. Who the fuck is writing this? But she has like billions of subscribers.
Sure.
And that's
how TV is trying to stay in existence. It's like, oh, you have a built-in fan base? Well, currently, the way the networks are, if you can get 700,000 people to watch your show, that's become good.
And she's saying these influencers, they make like a ton of money a year because they're getting sponsors.
They reach more people than the Super Bowl in a lot of cases.
Yes.
And they're just literally some idiot in Fontana who, almost shows her titties and laughs a lot.
Yeah, and they're reaching all over the world.
Yep.
And they feel famous. Like one of the bits she was trying to get out, the idea of the bit was that telling a teenager, go to your room, and her joke was, you go to your room, I pay the bills around here. Like a teenager saying, what? That's your parents.
We're talking about some Fire Festival going morons.
Dude, brutal. My heart breaks for your daughter.
Yeah.
Because this is the world she's going to grow up in.
Well, the good news is the world should crumble almost completely by the time my daughter's a teenager.
Okay.
So
I like what you're looking for.
Technology likely won't even be a thing as oxygen has been depleted from the atmosphere to the point that most people are suffocating to death.
Okay.
And as they
I know
die,
I am, but I'm going to start smoking again, so I'm going to get a filter.
As they die, these millennial influencers are going to be saying, their final breath will be hashtag okay boomer, and then they will die.
But they're not millennials. These are even younger. Like millennials are old
This
now.
is Generation Z.
You guys are dead. Yeah.
We're talking Generation Z.
Whatever that is, yeah.
That's
a teenager would be.
That's post-millennial.
Gen Z sounds like something you would put in your coffee. Like, I don't know. But I guess.
Very similar to ginseng.
Ginseng. That's it. That's what it's making me think of.
Gen Z, those are kids who are like, I think they're like 23 to teenage, basically. My little sister is part of Gen Z.
Okay. And how old is she?
21. No, she's turned 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have a 22-year-old sister.
Yeah, my parents were fucking.
I like what you're doing.
She was born when I was 16.
That's
there's
so
already
hot.
4 kids, and so we always joked that the sitcom was getting stale. And it was like in the 80s, and they'd be like, all right, Alex P. Keaton is grown up. We need a new kid.
We need something funnier.
Cue Andy. And it's just suddenly there's just a random little blonde kid who's like, okay.
Aww.
Most major sitcoms through the 70s and 80s pulled it off.
Didn't they have like even the Cosbys had Lisa
Olivia.
Bonet? Yeah. What was her name? She grew up to be
Simone.
So Raven.
Yeah, Raven Simone.
Yeah, my sister used to tease my niece about that because they were obsessed with That's So Raven. And then we ran into Dice and I were going to a gig in town, like an hour away, whatever. And we were getting gas on Ventura, and we ran into Raven Simone, and she came running over to Dice, and she was like, "Oh, Andrew Dice Clay." And this is about, I don't know, 5 years ago. And he goes, he's like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" Like, he didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
And when we figured out who she was, we were shocked that
Could
she
you
was.
imagine how creepy it would have been if Dice knew who Raven Simone was?
But he
looks?
has kids. He has
Max
boys.
and Dylan were watching That's So Raven.
I don't know, but I don't remember that.
But they seem like
I remember
they
it
were
more
too
with my
cool.
nieces.
Yeah.
You're right. I remember it more with Nicole and Alexa.
unless Dylan was like
the girls
12
watched.
and getting up in them guts. 'Cause
You never know.
He was a smooth motherfucker from the time he was a child.
I don't remember if they were watching that, but she came.
Are they the same? Raven Simone would be about their age, right? She's
Yeah.
probably in her 20s now.
Max is 29 and Dylan's 25.
Okay.
So, but that's the whole thing. It's like, we didn't know who the hell she was.
Yeah.
And then she goes, Dice, my grandmother is your biggest.
Snap. Snap.
Who the fuck is your grandma? Like he was.
Does your grandma got the cow titties?
His face like dropped.
Eleanor.
I felt so terrible. And then she was like, "I'm Raven Simone." Like, she was so nice. She was so sweet.
Yeah.
But she said my grandmother or my mother or something like that. It was just, I remember it just leveled out. He was like, "Okay, nice to meet you."
I watched Paulie one time trying to hit on a girl, and she was probably 19 or something.
Okay.
And this would have been, I don't know, 15 years ago. So Paulie was, I don't know, probably 60 then. And
It's only 50-something.
Oh, okay. Well, he was however old, but he was super older than her.
Of course.
And
so he felt like
he was making his move, and she wasn't really responding, and I don't think she'd seen any of his movies. And then he was like, "You should come to my show." And she's like, "What kind of show?" He's like, "Comedy." And she's like, "Oh, cool. What do you do? Like, is it like skits?" And he was like, "No, it's stand-up comedy." And then he said, "I'm Pauly Shore." And she goes, "Oh, I think my aunt slept with you." And it was such a special moment to witness.
Yay.
Just
was
look on
Pauly
his face
just
like, damn it.
But like, as a cool aunt,
Yeah.
I'm going to say that was pretty...
Yeah.
That's better than a grandma. My grandmom's your...
No, there's nothing wrong with, banging out someone's aunt. But
Okay.
at the same time, it's kind of one of those things, like, this chick is not going to want to fuck
she's not going to want to fuck Pauly.
Yeah.
Because he fucked her aunt already.
Yeah, her aunt's
look,
already...
That's incestual. It's kind of gross.
It just seems weird. But... And then she's like, "I got to go back to work." And he's like, "Where do you work?" And she's like, "Hollister at the mall." And I was like, "We got to get out of here before we all go to jail."
Pauly, this is a felony, Pauly.
Yeah.
This is what felonies are made of. Wait, Duncan and I were talking about...
by the way, he abandoned us,
comedy
for sure.
teams.
He
Yeah,
was
for
so
sure.
happy
Definitely. Comedy teams. Is that what you call it? A comedy
duo?
a duo.
Sure.
But not tag team. That's different. For some reason, we couldn't come up with the name.
Explain what you're talking
what
about.
will
Like
we
Jimmy
call
and
the
Joey?
or Sklar Brothers, I was trying to think of. But
It's a comedy duo.
Just a comedy duo.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Then maybe we didn't say that. But because we were saying how Mitzi has two of everything.
Right.
But I was thinking, what's her two of everything with Duncan? Because he's a bizarro world. And she hadn't passed Duncan type in quite a while.
Yeah, I mean.
Before she passed
him.
He
came in because, Frankie Lemmerman was deported back to Deutschland.
If he comes back down, he's gonna be like, "What?"
She wanted the weirdo. He's kind of the bizarre.
Okay,
act.
So he is
he fits the mold of like that was kind of strange but cool.
Yeah, because he's so fucking bizarre.
So funny, like I had to follow him one time after he did the
hobo
incense thing.
Oh,
have you ever seen that where he's like, and then in the end, like nothing happens. He's like, "Nope, I guess it didn't work." and the whole room is now filled with incense smoke, and the people in the front row are just like, "What the fuck?" It's like 10 minutes of seance, no punchline. At the end, it's just like, "Nope, it didn't work. Sorry. Thanks, everybody." And so I go up there, and it's literally just like people are literally just dying from smoke.
Pushing the smoke out to try to get them to clear so they can see you.
So good though, so good as someone who watches. At least at that point, watched comedy so regularly that it was like just the most boring thing ever. And you're like, dude, this guy's taking it to the limit.
And he would do that puppet and that satanic, like his eyes would roll in the back of the head and dice would go absolutely crazy from him. He was obsessed with him.
Rightly so. Little Hobo was a spectacular phenomenon of comedy.
He got stolen, right?
Yeah, someone stole him, I think, in
Seattle or something?
Yeah, or San Francisco or San Jose or something. I think it was San Jose, maybe.
San Jose.
Could you imagine being the creep who stole Little Hobo? Just, has it in their basement?
Can you imagine the devil worship that's going to come upon you? Well, not worship, the devil acts that are going to come upon you for stealing Hobo.
Dude, one time I was
evil that's going to haunt you.
One time I was backstage in the main room smoking pot, and Duncan comes back there with a couple, a guy and a girl, and he's like, "Oh, hey, these are my friends." Introduces me, and, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Are you guys comics?" And the guy's like, "No," just like gives me no, and then silent. And I go, "How do you guys know Duncan?" And Duncan's like, "His dad started the Church of Satan." Or his grandfather or something. I'm like, "What?" And it was legitimately the grandson of the founder of the Church of Satan. And he's just like this nice, quiet dude.
Where is the Church of Satan?
It's some sort of satanic church that went through the process of being recognized as a church. And so, it's Satan worshiping in itself isn't like, they're not actually like sacrificing goats or people or something. They just basically believe in self and that religion is ridiculous.
That's hysterical. I'm texting Duncan to see if he's coming back down because he probably got high and forgot.
Yeah, 100% chance of that.
That's for sure. I mean, otherwise this is going to be the weirdest podcast ever.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're on for time. What do we have for time, Todd?
We're at 40 minutes. I could go up and try to go get him, too, if you want.
See if he's still up there. Because he wants to come down for another 20-ish.
Yeah.
We'll break his balls about Little Hobo. I feel like things just got weirder there. It echoed a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, that was the sound of our souls when I mentioned the Church of Satan.
Our souls are echoing.
I'm teasing. We don't have souls anymore.
You're a kid. I know. They burned up on the hill. I love this. I love this. So you're the person who predicts the past.
I predict the past.
So do you predict your past leading to a better future?
Nope. From my prediction is that this charade of me being a stand-up comedian will go on for at least 19 years until this point right now.
Charade?
Yeah.
I like that.
It's a interesting pronunciation of charade.
No, I have a friend named Sharad. But
Is that true?
Yeah.
A guy or girl?
Guy.
A guy named Sharad?
Yeah, he's a comic.
Sharad is
so funny.
An ethnic female's name.
Ethnic male.
Agree to disagree.
Agree. It's Tony Rock's cousin.
I'm not okay with this.
All right, I'll tell him. Sherrod's very funny.
Sherrod.
He does Race Wars on Sirius Radio.
No idea what that means.
It's just a show. It's just a show they do on Sirius, and
is it a talk show?
Metzger is his co-host, I believe. Kurt Metzger.
How do we get this show onto Sirius satellite radio?
We probably have to take it a little more serious, and then
they seem like they probably pay better. Like if
I
they
don't
pay
know
at
though.
all?
I got to be honest. I don't know because Sirius is, I believe, dying as well.
Oh, horribly.
Yeah.
They've been losing money so badly. We canceled our subscription 6 months ago, and they send us
every day.
I mean, they call Corinne's phone at least 4 times a week, and we get letters in the mail offering us incredible deals.
You can have it for $25 for the whole year.
For the next 3 years for $30. And you're like, no, I'm still not going to listen to it.
I'm good.
It just became unnecessary.
Yeah.
As technology keeps going, it's like now you can literally...
You can just download a podcast and listen to it.
Yeah.
Most people...
Like I have Amazon Music on mine, and so there's literally just every song ever on there, and it's...
Yeah, I have the, what do you call it, music?
Spotify.
Apple Music.
Apple Music, yeah.
I think that's what I have. Apple or some shit. This is good. This is us looking at our phones. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's why I got rid of Sirius, because I used to listen to Opie and Anthony. Oh, that's hilarious. I used to listen to Opie and Anthony, and then Anthony, they split up, and then it was just Opie.
Did one of them get fired for
Anthony
being racist
did.
or something?
He got in trouble. He's a little nutty.
And then became Opie and Jim Norton.
Jim stayed. Opie and Jim. So it became Opie and Jim, and then like Sherrod Small would come on. Like they would have a lot of comics come on, and it was just silly. It was fun. Like Bert Kreischer would go on all the time, but it was real silly. But Anthony was very funny. You know, Opie's the straight guy. Anthony's very funny, and Norton, of course, is funny. But Opie and Anthony worked together so long that they were just so perfect working off each other.
He's on his way down.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
That's Duncan. That's Duncan's on his way down. Okay, let's cue up
Did
the
he
satanic music.
Did he look like he was really excited to come back down?
Yeah, he was like, "Wait, oh shit, yeah, oh fuck, I forgot."
That's our Duncan. I knew it. I
I
forgot
that we were such a memorable experience for him that he had already taken us out of his life.
That's how fast he doesn't care. That's Duncan. We call him the Sheik.
Unbelievable.
When he took over talent coordinator for Corey, she was Princess Corey, so he became the Sheik.
I like that.
And he enjoyed it a little bit until he realized how long that job was going to last. And Duncan, we missed you. Did you bring...
I'm really sorry. I didn't realize I should come back down.
Did you bring Adam back down with you?
Perfect.
Yeah, I said I want to...
Adam can sit in for me.
Adam's going to...
I'm gonna go.
But he's got...
play dice games in the parking lot.
Dice. I love rolling dice, man.
What did you just get? Did you win a T-shirt for your show?
Finally, I bought the shirt from Boom Shakalaka.
Okay, let me see that. That's perfect.
That's beautiful.
I wonder who he stole that off of.
No, that's a
Come
clean,
on.
That's a clean original shirt. Besides, Boone told me a long time ago, "Oh, I don't steal shit. I got people that work for me."
What does that mean?
It means he is a
that...
pimp, and he's got hoes out there stealing for him. That's how he got.
Are you okay with wearing a stolen shirt?
It's not stolen.
He bought it.
To you, yeah, because you pay. How much you pay for it? $1?
$3.
$3.
Yeah.
Prices went up.
Boone's price went up 2 years ago, and it's stayed at $3 now for a couple of years. But
I think this is a great $3 shirt.
yeah, I asked him one time. I go, wait, it used to be $1. When I used to buy shirts from Boone, it was $1. I go,
you know what's great though? We're sitting down here waiting for Duncan, and he's buying shirts
from Boone.
I'm so
sorry. Do you know how amazing that is, though?
It makes sense.
You know what that is?
If you had to pick between,
those are ropes to hang yourself with.
What is that? It's weird. It's got a weird elastic.
If you had to choose between,
it's to hang it to dry.
Having your soul melt with the darkness inside of the two of us, or the beautiful light of Boone Shakalaka, what would you pick? You know,
number one, you guys aren't dark, but you are the kind of light being that disguises themselves as dark.
Thank you.
Number 2, soul melting is. I would love my soul to melt. That'd be fucking rad.
Yeah.
Your soul melting?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's actually our other podcast.
Soul melter.
Soul melting.
Soul melter.
The soul melter is coming too.
With Fran and Jerome. We do characters for that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hi,
like,
I'm Fran. My soul melted.
Hey, Duncan, I was telling her while you were gone, we were just talking about you since
comedy
you weren't
duo, by the way.
here.
duo. Okay, fine.
Jesus, we couldn't think of it.
We were discussing how one time I was smoking pot in the green room and the main room, and you came back there with a couple friends, and I asked the guy if he was a comic, and he just said no, and there was like no follow up to no.
Oh shit.
And I was like, whoa. And then I'm like, so how do you guys know each other? And then you were like, this guy's grandfather founded the Church of Satan. And I was like, cool. It was just, I was like, this Duncan knows really interesting people.
Satanists are fun, man. Like, that was a fun period in my life.
Dude, how did you meet that? He was just in the audience or something?
How
or
did
you
I
don't
meet
even remember?
Stanton?
Stanton?
Stanton LaVey.
It
was very, it was like.
Was he here just hanging out, or you
no.
know him from somewhere else?
What happened is, that's a great question. What happened is, so, I'd been doing my satanic puppet act for fun, and then a friend of mine who was a Satanist, I guess, knew Stanton and like mentioned to Stanton, because Stanton was getting married.
Right. He was with his lady.
Yeah, to Zandora. And so they were getting married, and like they were doing a show for their marriage, and he mentioned like, oh, I know this guy's got a pretty good satanic puppet act. And so Stanton was like,
one of the better ones for sure.
Thanks,
By
man.
the way.
And Stanton was like, oh, have him come over, and I would love to like chat with him about potentially performing at my wedding. And so, like, I'm not going to turn down the chance to meet, like, the grandson of the founder of the Church of Satan.
Right.
So I go to his house.
That's a must meet for sure.
It was the best. And, like, Zandora, like, made this wonderful, like, nice Southern meal. And they gave me absinthe. And then, like, I showed
That's
him.
hallucinogenic.
I know
liquor.
exactly what it is.
Okay, cool.
And, like, real absinthe. Like, this isn't, like,
straight
well,
from
hardcore
Mexico, not this
shit
bullshit
in an
Orange
unlabeled
County shit.
bottle with stuff that looks like it got pulled out of like a druid's
Did it fuck you up? Like, did you get like quick fucked up, or
the whole situation? Like, when you get around people, any kind of spiritual people, or when you catch a vibe from when you're around people who have a disciplined practice or whatever it may be, whether it's Satanism, Buddhism, whatever it may be,
Catholicism,
Catholicism,
any kind of isms.
people are really doing it. There's a vibe, and then when you add a sacrament to it, that definitely helps the vibe. So yeah, there was a wonderful, like, it was a really great night for me, and it was really fun hanging out with him. And then I got to perform at their wedding with like Hank Williams the third, and like
Is that Bo Sivas, or was he?
I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I think Hank Williams Jr. is Bo.
I can't remember which Hank Williams it was, but it was like a really big show, and like it was really cool. They gave me a chance to perform. Funny, they gave me a chance to perform. But also, when I went there, you do forget, only because we're used to the main world religions, that Satanism is a religion. It
Absolutely.
is an authentic religion.
Yeah.
And it's a very old religion, and which means that it's, in the same way that there's people who have had like Catholic families for a long time, there's satanic families that have been around for a long time, and many of those satanic families were there.
They
And
called the Mansons, or
well, I don't think the Mansons and also in Satanism,
He was a fraud.
I'm sorry,
Charles
you're right,
Manson was
you're
a
right.
fraud.
You're right.
I'm willing to say it. A lot of people are scared to fucking, they walk around the truth. But if you're listening, Manson,
Tiptoeing.
you're a fucking fraud.
I don't
period.
think he's listening. Maybe he's with Mitzi, fingering Mitzi.
Dude, I would finger bang Manson's ghost so fucking hard.
What did you say?
I would finger bang Manson's ghost so hard.
You listen, okay. Listen. I appreciate finger bang, but I think you might have missed. Eleanor took it to Manson's ghost is fingering Mitzi.
Can you believe that?
Which is just
unacceptable.
wild.
She might have mistook him for Argus. I
Wild.
don't know. You think Mitzi's not horny up in wherever she is?
You know what bugs me, man, with Manson is like,
What a fraud he is.
Were you a fan, Nish?
not a fan. Like I'm a fan. I'm
intrigued, I should say. I shouldn't say a fan, but like some people are intrigued.
Let me put it this way: you go see a fireworks show,
right?
And like you're looking up, and like there's sometimes like some people are gonna like certain fireworks, some people are gonna like other fireworks. But because you like look at a firework that's particularly ridiculous, you know, and you're like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. That's really interesting. Doesn't mean you like support whatever the formation of the firework may be. So like with Manson, it's like here we have a spectacle.
Right.
It's a spectacle. It's
time.
people people shaving their heads, carving swastikas into their fucking forehead. You've got this guy who's like literally the nightmare of any conservative person. It's not just that he looks like Jesus. It's that
I had to bow my head.
He's
Sorry.
he looks like the Christ, but he's weird.
Crazy Christ.
But he's also so charismatic.
Yeah.
That he's getting these people to follow him and believe in what he's saying and do what he's asking of them.
Shit, he had a
To me,
Beach
that
Boy
is-
on board for a little while.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I mean,
That was in Doris Day's house. My mom always brings that up.
He was
his son, her
very
son's
connected,
house.
a very connected man, and like whatever that was, who knows? And I do get annoyed though because it's like, you know, you could sit with a person and talk about a cheetah that killed like 6 people, and they're just gonna be like, yeah, that's yeah.
That's what cheetahs do.
But if you mention like Manson, people are like, he was a piece of shit. Why are you fucking idolizing him? He's a fucking super piece of shit. And you're like, I'm not idolizing him. It was a spectacle.
Insane, and you have to recognize it. I agree. I agree with you.
Meanwhile, like how much money has Life magazine made off of Manson? Every 2 months they've got another Charles Manson Life magazine. I bet Life magazine since the Manson murders has made over like $50 million off just printing Life magazines
like if
on
they
Manson.
just didn't talk about it, it would go away.
That's the society of fear we live in, you know? Fear is marketable.
Oh, totally.
So Manson might be dead, but he was so evil, how do we know he's not coming back?
Well, but also here's an important thing to recognize.
And I will finger bang him if he does.
Nobody's looking at Life magazine Manson scared. First of all, the whole thing is like people love fear. It's like, no. People are looking at Life magazine Manson and they're getting off on it. There's no fear at all. Fear, I know, like fear.
I get off on a
Middle
lot
America.
of things.
Listen, Middle America.
You do.
I know.
You love fucking fingering, which by itself is like so not like it's such a basic like high
it's
school,
a start.
Middle school.
It's fun. It makes me feel young.
Yeah, that's what it's all
getting
about.
fingers.
Get a finger in there.
All right. I'll start fingering.
I'm starting to get you on my side, Duncan.
All right.
Maybe I'm charismatic enough.
I just get worried about fingering because it's like, fuck, man. It's like when you get to the point where it's time to finger, you can't be like, oh shit, let me go wash my hands. We have fried chicken.
Yeah.
So you've got to make this
yeasty
grotesque ethical decision, which is like,
flavorful pussy? What are you saying?
I'm saying like vaginas are like very like
it's a
delicate ecosystem, and if you're gonna like you just had fried chicken or barbecue,
you gotta go into every situation ready to finger bang. I think that's
so
maybe
you need
hands
wet
have to be wet.
Always hand sanitizer.
I carry condoms and wet wipes, so
just no matter what you're doing or what's going on in your life, just remember always be ready to finger bang. Maybe
I have a lot of hand sanitizer.
Put that on a
too.
T-shirt, and we might be able to make some money for this podcast.
There you go, Todd. That's
Buy
our,
the shirt,
our
guys.
slogan.
Always be ready to finger bang.
I don't know.
And
do
just
some
like
push-ups, do some
a
exercise.
ghost of Mitzi lingering behind us.
Finger bang
You don't
is
like
the craziest name, only because it's like the farthest thing from a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a bang sounds so much more exciting.
It's
It's
like
a finger smoosh or a slurp.
Yeah, you're right.
A finger
I always
slurp.
finger banged. It looked
Finger insert.
It looked a lot like I was reloading a musket. That's how I
How
like
long has it
finger.
been since you fingered somebody, man?
Yeah, because a musket, using that as a reference, you know how hard?
It's been about 200 years since I finger banged someone, but it was just like a musket.
Okay. It was just, you had to clean it
Listen,
out? I don't
How
understand.
the fuck do you guys know what it's like to do a musket?
I finger
My
banged
dad.
all through the Chesapeake.
You can't just say my dad. What, your dad had like
He fingered me
it's
like it was a musket. I'm
it's a pretty-
kidding. I'm kidding.
It's a pretty creepy reference.
all sides of it are fucked. Eleanor, what happened to you?
No,
Have you been going to
I
those
always
like? Are you
joke.
in Nexium? Have you been going to these like?
Did you watch that? Like that's crazy.
What, Nexium?
Yes. What the fuck?
Are we talking about the antacid medication?
No.
That is how I feel too. It's like, motherfucker.
That's what I thought of first.
If you're gonna name your dumb cult, can you please not name it in a way that sounds like a fucking antacid?
Yeah.
This was another guy who was like running some crazy big ass cult, young girls. I mean, how dumb are we, ladies? What are we doing? What is missing in our lives that we're letting this
sex leader?
It was a mother and daughter. How about that?
Oh wait,
mother
all of a
and
sudden,
daughter.
Wait, hold on. I just want to make sure that I'm hearing suddenly Eleanor's like, how do we let this happen to us?
After an hour of finger bang talk.
Fingering Manson,
Hold on
fingering
a
a
second.
fucking ghost.
But that doesn't make me dumb. That makes me fun.
Okay,
Helter skelter.
but also you're
I didn't join any cults to
Yeah.
do it. I mean, I would just enjoy seeing that somebody reaching through the parallel universe. And
Look, a lot of people. A lot of people
what?
ignore.
Yeah, I am in a comedy cult.
That's what I'm saying.
That comedy,
a lot of people.
show business is
This
a cult.
No.
What do you mean? Just
This
comedy?
you don't think this place is a cult?
The comedy store.
You're right, and it's my Hotel California. It is hard to get out.
It's a cult. It's like a cool cult, but it's definitely I don't know. The whole like the stigma against cult seems pretty ridiculous to me, actually. But it's like this place is a cult.
No, it's not a. Nobody makes you do it. What do you mean? Why is it a cult?
Are you kidding?
No, I want to know.
Okay. So like a cult.
I'm female. I'm not smart
This
as you.
is
So
a-
please
this is a-
mansplain.
First of all,
This is a house
I
of finger
deserve
bang.
it. I deserve the
Go ahead.
mansplaining.
I want you to fucking mansplain a cult.
Okay, first of all, it's not fucking mansplaining. We have a disagreement. And like, you think you're not in a cult, which is the first thing anyone in a cult thinks.
That's very true.
Number one.
That's true.
No one in a
It's
cult
totally
thinks they're in a
Let me
cult.
ask you this, Eleanor. Do you feel like you're part of a family here by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a family, right?
The
That's
Comedy
weird.
Store,
So is Charles
fill in the
Manson's
blank.
group.
Family.
Right.
Right. But then also, like, have you ever heard of something called trauma bonding?
Yes.
Right. So here, what we've all experienced is a kind of trauma bonding because, like, the profession we're in is traumatic, and so we all trauma bond here. But then also on top of that, we had a very powerful matriarchal figure. And let me tell you, I've been around at this
That
point
you've been
in my
trying
life.
to finger. Mm-hmm.
First of all, I have not.
Inappropriate.
I never. Honestly, Eleanor, in the years that I work with Mitzi, there was never a time
You never
when
saw
I
her
thought
without
about
her.
fingering her. Ever. Like it never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Ever.
You never
Ever.
thought she
Yeah.
was hot.
There was never a time when I thought about fingering Mitzi. There was a time when I was like, fuck, that's a powerful woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was certainly times when like I was experiencing this
if
like
she came on to you, what would you do?
I wouldn't have had sex with her. I would
Really?
never have like humped Mitzi. Never. Ever. I would never have.
Why?
Well, I guess
She's getting angry. I can feel it. But why?
let me tell you, if I could jump back, I mean, it's ageist to say, but if I could jump back to the 80s, if I was like 80s Mitzi was
Predict
hitting
the
on me, I would
past.
definitely have made.
Oh, so you don't want like post
She was an old.
Argus.
I'm not like open enough to like accept that particular body vehicle and it's like the form that I was experiencing. And in the 80s, if she was like young, hot, powerful fucking Mitzi, in a second, I would have loved
I knew
it.
I'd get him to
Banged
say
it
it,
out,
just so
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but
That's
I'm
all
not,
I wanted.
And by I mean that with literally with all due respect. Like that person was a very powerful, very like I can't even imagine what that must have
course.
been like in the 80s. I can't, or like I don't even know what that must have been like to be in that.
But do you think
field.
women in power use their power just the same way as men in power
No,
do?
I do not.
There was. But
That
there,
was a trick
there's
question.
there's
but
a lot
you
of
answered it right.
stories.
Oh, great, thank God.
There's a lot of stories though about comics who would sleep with Mitzi because they felt like if they didn't,
Sure, they
then they
weren't
would
going to
not
get spots.
spots anymore. So I mean,
But a lot of them she slept with that she
And-
stopped giving spots to.
none of them seem to complain about it. But I have heard multiple people be like, well, you know, if you didn't do it though, then she wouldn't give you spots anymore. And I had the same thing happen with Tommy. You know,
Okay.
Did you hook up with Tom?
had to finger him.
Guys, the fingering shit is like so gross. Honestly, I don't get offended by
You're gonna
much.
have
And like, honest, somehow the fingering thing, I feel disgusting. It's like weird because I'm like, it's gross. I don't know. I never thought of fingering. It's gross.
You can't even finger Tommy. Really. I don't even know how you would do that.
I honestly, when I agreed to do the pod, I was like, I wasn't thinking like,
Did you get
they're gonna like.
We'll probably talk fingering a lot.
Did you get along with Tommy, or did you even know him?
So
yeah, a little bit, right?
okay. So
Tommy took over for Duncan.
Tommy,
I know it. No, Duncan was like, I'm going on vacation.
Tommy. So like, I have a lot of like mixed feelings about it.
Got it.
And but the most like Tommy was really sweet to me.
Absolutely, us too.
And he was so kind to me, and he was so like, and not bullshit sweet either. Like there was
He felt genuine artistry.
Yeah, man.
Like when I would talk to him about you, he would always go, "He's a real artist."
And, yeah, yes. And that meant a lot to me. And it was like, and like so, and I know a lot of comics who he meant a lot to. And I'm definitely not going to jump on the shit talking Tommy train. I'm disappointed to hear about why he got fired. That really bums me out. And that bums me out because that's a real. But that
you didn't know that. Like, you didn't know what was going on.
I had no idea.
Actually, neither did I.
That shit really bums me out.
Mitzi told me to do it, okay?
She did? Why?
Well, she said, we can't give you an official raise, so take what you earned.
Really? And you
That was the eventual story he told me.
Look, man, to me, it's like all levels of, like, when you're stealing, you're fucking up. And to me, like, I know how much she trusted him, and that doesn't sound like Mitzi to me. And
she would never say.
Yeah, 100%. And again,
100,000%.
that was the fourth or fifth version of his reality that he told me, because he lived across the street from me after he got fired. So his story just would change every couple months.
And also, by the way, I'm not like gonna get in the game of like defending anybody or like whatever, like that. But I think it's super important to really acknowledge the madhouse that this place is.
Sure.
And during my time here, I have seen so many people in managerial positions literally go insane.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember one manager.
Or poor Brandon. Were you here for Brandon? Duncan?
Oh, yeah.
Brandon
But
Duncan.
I don't know.
She made him work like a whole year straight. He never had a night off. He was fucking losing his mind.
That starts happening. And like, there was one manager who I remember, and I passed him in the hallway. And he stopped and he grabbed my arm and it's not a fingering joke, but it kind of is.
It always comes back.
He fucking dug his fingernails into my arm and because he was going insane.
Okay.
And he looked at me with this look in his face.
Like just lost.
Madness.
Kinda. Yeah.
And he said something along the lines of I've worked the last 3 weeks straight. And it was really but it was more than just overworking. It was the overworking mixed in with the whatever this psychic vortex is here, was driving him nuts.
Yeah.
And I think
The Shining. He was feeling it.
was The Shining.
Yeah.
And so with Tommy and me, I mean, just being like around Mitzi and being around this that level of strange power, which is
it is strange power. You're right. That's a pretty accurate way to say it.
Strange power. Yeah. And power that's relegated to a tiny little, relatively small. It's a block.
A realm of
a tiny realm.
Yeah.
But yet still the same kind of power of someone who is an empress or something.
Yeah.
And to me that was I can remember sitting with her. And in those days, especially, I was really naive, and I was just been in liberal arts school in North Carolina.
Yeah,
and I can remember sitting with her and watching comics come and watching some of them bow to her.
Oh, sure.
And touch her feet and bow to her.
Big comics too,
big comics,
successful. You're
yeah, and looking at that and realizing I don't know what I'm seeing,
but
I'm seeing something spectacularly bizarre. That is definitely not being documented and is definitely maybe impossible to document.
Yeah.
You know, and
like people try to write about this place and you really can't.
they never grab it.
Never grab
because grab it.
It's some of it people read it and be like, that's impossible, that never happened. Like, no, that really happened. But it's so not believable that they look at it like it's not real. Like you can't
grab it.
Yeah. They're like, well, you got to lighten it up a little. No, but this is what happened.
It's not light.
Yeah, it's not light. It's insanity.
Yeah.
I remember you calling me, and I was a doorman, and telling me that you had an incredible opportunity for me to become Mitzi's assistant, something that had
he was in the vortex at that
an
point.
Opportunity
You can't judge him for that.
So many people, great legends, Jim Carrey, and all these people had done.
Did he bring them up?
Yeah, he was really selling it, and I had been here long enough that I knew that this was a death trap to take this job, and I just go, yeah, I mean, everyone I know since I've gotten here that was their assistant isn't allowed to come here anymore. And you just go, all right, man, thanks. And then you just hung up. It was just like, hey, I had to try. So.
I appreciate you forgiving me for that.
Yeah, I did.
And like, because I remember those, because what was happening, here's what was happening. What was happening is we were trying to figure out a way to get someone that we really loved taken care of. And we had to find out a way to do it that wasn't going to trigger her to think we were trying to get her taken care of.
Exactly.
Right.
And we didn't know what to do. And that was from the top down.
Yeah.
Her kids didn't know what to do. Nobody knew what to do.
Were you at the intervention?
Oh, yeah.
With James Painter?
I was at
not James Painter, James Price.
I was at the fucking intervention.
Oh, my God, that was brutal.
It broke. I think that was...
And Jennifer Pryor ruined it and got kicked out.
Well... there was no way that was going to go all right.
No.
Like, that was never going to work.
But we tried. But again, you're right in that Rick has to go to his spot.
Break a leg, Rick.
But, and we'll wrap this up. Sorry.
Do you remember her lighthousing everyone? Do you remember her looking everyone in the eye? Like, going from one set of eyes to the next, to the next, to the next, so that everybody knew that she knew that they were there? And the look in her eyes.
The anger.
Yeah.
And disappointment, like even like James Price had no reason to be there, but Paulie invited him. And that made her level of anger at the highest. And then, but this is the weird part about that. And Paulie talks about this on this podcast, is after that meeting, because he was depleted. He didn't know where else to turn, what to do. It was killing him. He really, truly had no idea. And all the fights we had, me and Paulie. And he looked at me and he said, I don't know what to do. And he just started crying. And I hugged him. I could only hug him. I didn't know what to do. And I just held him. I held him for like a good, solid 3 minutes, Duncan. Like it was that uncomfortable. But
having elderly parents it's like
But what do you do? And he's busy and the other kids are busy.
But the busy thing, the reality of it is that I was on the phone with those kids and everybody wanted her to be okay.
Absolutely.
And her she was so powerful and her karma, I guess you could say, or whatever you want to call it, her like soul was so radiant, but her body was starting to break down. And even worse, she was having like lapses.
Oh yeah.
And so what you're looking at is like people who have really, she was like the cornerstone.
Totally.
And it was starting to like tremble and like not make sense anymore. And but also it was the cornerstone, and she was just not going to like, what is it? She wasn't going to
settle.
She wasn't going to go quietly into the night.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was going to go kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
In every facet. Like I don't know if it was you. No, I think it was Jason Lucas. Somebody we were talking about when we were trying to hire nurses, round the clock nurses, without her knowing they were nurses.
I remember.
And lying to her about their ethnicity. Like the guy that was with her to the end for some reason his name
A
isn't
saint.
coming to my head.
What was it? Alfred?
Alfred, thank you. I was going to call him something, but
He was a saint.
Yeah, a total saint. But by the way, he's Filipino, and we had to tell Mitzi he was Thai because she only trusted Thai people.
Oh, I remember that.
And so, but before that, there was like Juan Carlos drove like an hour to get that.
Yeah.
She was black, Dominican maybe, I forget. But he brought her back, and Mitzi saw her, and she had red lipstick on. She was like, "Get her out of here." It's like the woman's right here. Juan just drove her like an hour, and he had to drive her back. He's like, yeah, it's not going to work out. But it was like split seconds like that, and that's what she did to managers here.
I know.
She would give them, and then she would say, "I'll give you a percentage of the club," and they were like, "Okay," and like it was constantly like little things to keep them, and then she'd get mad at them for something so insignificant and get rid of them.
But I think like one of the
because she was like artsy too. She was like
mystical,
whatever the word. Yeah,
and in like to me, like I have a friend who studies comedy in indigenous cultures because it appears everywhere. It doesn't just
of course.
Yeah. So in like the comedian, so he studies the comedian as it appears in various cultures and in mythologies and stuff. And so like in Native American culture, it appears as the coyote. And the coyote and he's like spent a lot of time talking to me about it, and it's really fascinating because
I fucking hate coyotes.
Well, it's the
I'm sorry.
If like we were saying earlier, like it was heavy. It's not funny in the way like when a TV comes to try to capture it, they try to make it funny. But the stories of the coyote really do capture the way I understand comedians now. For example, one of the stories of the coyote is so fucking crazy, which is that like Mother Raccoon, I don't even know why she would do this, gets convinced by the coyote that like somehow starts trusting the coyote. And she needs to run an errand. So the coyote is like, well, I'll take care of your babies while you go run the errand. I'll make sure they're safe. And she's like, all right. And so while she's gone, the coyote chops the heads off her children.
Of course.
Puts them on sticks. And then when she's coming back, like shakes them in the window so she thinks that they're happy. The coyote makes it seem like they're happy to see her coming. And then when she finally arrives, she sees that it's her children's heads on sticks. And
everybody starts laughing?
Well, no, because what is that? No, with comedy, it's like, yeah, obviously we want to make them laugh. But there's a deeper element to it that seems to be incredibly dark and somehow based on life and death and chaos. And so when you like, when people study this shit, they're really interested in it because like, why does even comedy exist? Like from a anthropological perspective,
comedy tragedy.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, what is it and why is it there and what is it? And when you look at the way like this guy, like these Lakota, they do this thing called the Sundance Ritual. Have you ever heard of this?
Mm-mm. So I've heard of a Sundance, but I don't know.
It's an initiatory ritual, I think, and it's an initiation. And what they do is they pierce their chests with spikes. And they hang.
I'm listening.
They hang from poles, and they dangle in the wind, and it's called the Sundance, and it's a very sacred thing.
Sacred?
Yeah, because it's like
crazy.
It represents like I don't know what it represents,
but it's their culture, so I shouldn't shit on it. Well, like it's someone's culture. Someone believes that's a.
It's just fucking whatever you can shit on it if you want. It happens, and it's psychedelic and crazy.
Right.
So even getting access to one of these things is rare. And somehow he gets access, and he goes there, and there's a name in the Lakota tradition for the comedian that is in every tribe. And
was the guy killing with the fucking?
No, he said so because if you really think about it, on one level it's trippy. It's like some ancient weird ritual where you're dangling and you're in pain, but you're like surrendering to the universe. But also on another level, there's the potential there for that to be very sanctimonious, and so. He gets there, he pulls up, and there's this weird, like, Native American dude there, and a woman is there, and she walks up, and this weird Native American dude looks at the woman, and he goes, I just don't like you at all. And she's like, what? And then he just kind of walks off. That guy was the comedian of the tribe.
Oh, shit.
And so then there's a sweat lodge. And so he goes in the sweat lodge, and that guy's sitting there. And the guy's looking around. Everyone's like, it's all fucking holier, sweet, fucking sacred, ancient shit. Drums and people are sweating. This fucking guy's sitting in the sweat lodge, looking around, going like, does this seem hot in here to you guys? Like, I feel like it's kind of hot in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But seriously being like, I can't tell if I'm like freezing or really hot. Just saying the weirdest shit. And so when the great sacred Sundance Ritual happens, finally, the apex of this fucking thing, this guy who is this being, and I can't remember the name, there's a name for it, is walking around with a fishing pole with money attached to the hook and throwing it out at nothing and just reeling it back in.
Are people grabbing at it? Like,
it's here you have people who are like, oh, I surrender to the universe. And this weirdo is going around fishing with money. And it's like, that is the comedian figure, is it appears in these like
bizarre
endogenous, like, or rather like a potentially dogmatic traditions, and then fucks it up by doing the most absurd, like weird and completely untenable things that are very offensive on one level. It's like
fingering.
Like fucking fingering. The comedian fingers the pussy of the universe in a way that, you know, and that's like the way, and one of the theories behind it is, if that doesn't exist, it's like the steam valve on an Instapot. If that's not there to let the fucking steam out by, you know, reducing people or reducing whatever the sacred moment is to something absurd and ridiculous, then things have the potential of becoming imbalanced, lopsided, and sanctimonious. And so that seems to be the role of the trickster figure, the comedian.
So you're
figure.
saying we need comics?
Yeah, without comedians, everything gets fucked up.
By the way, if you were like a cult leader, I would be completely under your spell.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. I appreciate that.
I probably shouldn't take
Only
it
a dope would start a cult. You would have to be so dumb to start a cult. Only a fool would start a cult. Who the fuck wants to deal with that?
Is the beginning of you starting a cult and me falling for it. Like, yeah, they're dumb, and then I'm behind you.
First of all.
And then the group gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Like, you're not the high priestess of the Comedy Store.
I'm not.
I'm not falling for this. You're the leader. That's the kind of thing a cult leader would have to say. And then I'm like, I'm in, man. If you'd follow me, I'm joining your cult right now.
No way. You're fucking with my head right there, turning it around. You know you're doing that.
Right.
You know how good you are at that.
Oh, really? Because
yes!
I have you know what my cult consists of? I have a wife, a 10-month-old, 2 Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, a Chihuahua, and a Poodle. This is my cult, and it's not getting any bigger than that.
How many dogs? 4. Holy shit. Are they little, big?
They're little dogs, but it's too many dogs.
That's a lot.
And we don't know what to do. And then we're trying to figure out the compassionate way to deal with it.
Are they good with the baby, though?
They love the baby.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But we got to, it's not fair for them. It's like, I'm not Cesar Millan. I don't have time to give 4 dogs the attention they deserve. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. Listen,
I don't have
Duncan, I don't have a
rollerblades.
kid. I don't have a dog. I can't do anything. I can't commit to anything like that. So that's impressive that you can 4 dogs and a 10-month-old and a wife.
And a
Maron.
wife. You could do anything. But you would do it fine.
I would do it if I was in this situation. I've done it. Like my second ex-fiance, Dice, had 2 kids and a dog.
Yeah.
He was out of town. The wife was out of town. The ex-wife, whatever. I was watching the dog and the kids, and the dog got bit by a pit bull. I'm not great.
It's not your fault the dog got bit by the
Whatever. I did save Dylan. I was like, just get on top of the car. I have to punch a pit bull right now.
You guys were being attacked by a pit bull? That's bad luck.
Oh, Duncan.
Not your bad luck. It's
I
just
live with a black cloud over my head. Of course,
Do you really?
Bad luck. Of course.
I don't believe it. You and Rick, it's great.
Oh,
you guys
see that you can see the stream of good luck that comes my way? Is that what you're saying?
I see your like deep,
my aura?
beautiful authenticity, and your honesty, and
which
if that's
people don't like. People prefer the other way.
being full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
They
mean,
want to be lied to, and they want to be pet. They wanna be...
yeah, but that's just people. Like,
It's just everybody in show business. Sorry, guys.
I don't think it's everyone in show
Not
business.
everybody, but for the most part, like, they're like, yeah, you don't really, you're too honest. I've heard so much shit about how I am on stage and off stage.
Well,
I am a nice person, but I'm very honest. Like,
you're authentically you. You're a comedian, and you're you.
Yeah.
And you're tuned into you completely, and you're in that is like everything that's beautiful in the world, and you can't get more beautiful than that. You can't get more beautiful than that in the world, and anything that is outside of that is just, it's like there's one thing I've heard that I love a lot is love everyone and tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's the way to live. And it's a really interesting...
And for the most part, I do love everyone.
I know.
But people tend to shove that, they fuck that up for me. Because I'm like, now I'm not loving you,
You're not
I get
liking
mad.
them.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not liking them. I get mad easy. I have anger issues.
Me too.
Really?
Oh, fuck yes.
I don't see you as an angry person.
Oh, that's every angry person.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I say that on stage. Like, I'm the person, like, when they interview the neighbor who, like, of the person that killed everyone. And they're like, he was so nice.
Right.
Why did he do that?
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to do that.
I thought everybody was just like a one-dimensional thing, and the way you see them, and it's the way they always are all the time. I don't even know there's what you mean. They're like it's potentially like other facets of a person's personality.
No, but I feel like you have it like down to a science in my head. Like you may, of course, you have emotions and shit happens, but for the most part, you're like, okay, this is happening over here. I'm not gonna deal with. I'm just gonna go this way. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
I don't involve myself in your nonsense drama bullshit. So I'm going here. I'm doing this.
I do. Which
is good.
I try to like not get caught in other people's gravitational fields these days, which is I think a good practice in general.
Yes.
But like there's this like mystic named Gurdjieff who talks about how people.
What kind of chief?
Gurdjieff. His name's Gurdjieff. It looks like Gurdjieff, but it's pronounced Gurdjieff, I think.
Gurdjieff.
Yeah, but he was brilliant, and his idea of a human is that there's like a multiplicity of personalities in any given being, and that,
of course,
yeah. And so when a person says, "Oh, I'm an angry person," it's like, well, you're not really angry any more than like a dry pile of wood is on fire. But that dry pile of wood has a potential to catch on fire
quicker
more
than others.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So you're potentially angry, maybe more than other people. That doesn't mean that you're angry, because if you were angry all the time, you would be dead. It's too much metabolic energy to be angry all the time. You're not angry all the time.
Like I tried to meditate, and then a car alarm started going off, and I immediately was like, all right, like within seconds. Like I can't.
Well, that's the funny thing.
That's bad. That's bad.
But meditation, people all think that like the one of the like, how like global warming.
Do you meditate?
I do. Yeah,
yes.
I do.
I feel like
but I don't do it regularly. But I practice mindfulness, and I have a Buddhist teacher. But like the
mindfulness. What do you mean, like?
So it's
being aware.
Yeah, it's like in Buddhism, there's like basically like a way of sort of, it's a process, and so it's like a way of looking at the mind and understanding the mind. So the thing you're describing with the car alarm is essentially what was happening is you were sitting still and you became reactive. Like there was a car alarm and you reacted to the car alarm, and then because of that you got angry, or you experienced some kind of thing that
I was like, I can't listen to this fucking whatever, blah, 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 whatever the thing was trying to calm me down. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with like right now. A lot of people think meditation is about calming down. It really isn't. Like,
or just focusing.
It's not about even focusing. It's like what at least, well, there's many versions of it, but the way I've been taught is in Tibetan Buddhism, the name for
Free Tibet.
Free Tibet. Too late.
Tibet.
Chinese, it's done. But in Tibetan Buddhism,
Fucking Chinese.
well, maybe there's a chance to get them back there, but probably not. But in Tibetan Buddhism, the name for it is Gom, which means self-knowing. So it isn't calming down. And in fact, it isn't changing yourself at all.
Well, it's not about changing myself. Like, to me, it's like just kind of calming myself and then focusing where I can stay more mindful, I guess, like aware of things, like get things done. Don't be all over the place with my head. You know what I'm saying? Almost like Adderall, but not.
Well, yeah, that is, whatever that is, would, from the way I've been taught, would not be considered meditation. What meditation is more of like a familiarity with the mind. So it's kind of like the way I've been taught to meditate.
So let my mind just do what it does, which is basically fucking empty barrels make the most noise. And that's what all my teachers used to say to me.
Yeah, that's the mind. That's what you do. What's so cool about it is what you do is you just sit and you follow your breath.
And then there's this bizarro world in here.
Yes, that's it. Your attention goes on the breath. And so that's what we're doing. We're looking at the breath. So you're just watching, and you're not changing your breath. You don't do meditation breathing, like yoga breathing. You're not like suddenly like,
yeah.
You're not doing
Sometimes
that.
I try like, maybe I should breathe more. But then I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that.
You don't change the breath. You just watch the breath. So you really just need a place to put your attention on. So you're putting your attention on your breath. And then sure as fucking shit, you're going to get caught by your thoughts. Your thoughts go.
And then my thoughts are like, "Why are you breathing like that? What are you, a fucking idiot? You're not supposed to be thinking of this. You're supposed to be paying attention." And then it's just this, and then it's just, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
And right there, at the "what the fuck is happening"
is where you're supposed to go.
No, you go thinking, and then you put your attention back on the breath. So that's the whole thing. That's it. So literally, that's it. So it's like, it's the funniest thing because it fucks your mind. Because your mind wants to be so important. Your mind wants to be the most important thing. So your mind
controls everything.
It wants you to think it controls everything.
Oh, it does. Mind over matter? No.
Your mind is basically the best. One of the best descriptions of the thought process that I've ever heard is from my teacher's teacher, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche.
Jesus,
he calls
Mary
it.
Joseph. I'm gonna Google half
He's
of
the
this.
best, but he calls it baby poop. So your thoughts are like baby poop. They're that unimportant. They're just phenomena that appears. And if you really get in the practice of watching your breath and getting familiar with your thoughts, you realize that exactly what you said, them being in control and all that shit, that's what they would want you to think. But when you begin to realize your thoughts are no more important than like bits of fake snow in a snow globe, they just appear and then dissipate, then that's the familiarity with the mind that produces a little kind of gap in between reacting to your thoughts and your thoughts. And then in that space, there's like maybe some hope to not be caught in the pattern so much. But like
the mind doesn't control the whole body. Like when you take a step, your mind tells you, like, pick your foot up, whatever, things like that. Like, isn't that part of like dementia and things like that, where your parts of your brain just stop telling your feet and you start losing your...
Sure.
Am I crazy?
No, I don't think so. I think that like it's a difference in like semantics. It's a semantic, like the way, for me, it's like there's the continuum of thoughts, which is usually like the best way I've heard it described is like a top 10 playlist most people have. So you have like a few looping thought patterns. For some people, it's I'm running out of money. For some people, it's I'm a shitty husband, or I'm a bad daughter, or I should have done this, or I should have done that.
Sure.
Why did that motherfucker do that to me? Or on and on.
Sure, I'm always on the...
Yeah, but it's mostly just
I should have stood up for myself. Oh.
Yeah, that. So so essentially like what's happening is I try to do mindfulness on the treadmill, and I notice that if I get really caught up in a thought that's really intense about like something I'm mad about, I'll literally slow the treadmill down and I'll have to stop running because I get so caught in that thought that I'm like taken out of like the moment, the action.
Yeah.
The best way to describe it is this. Acknowledge the wave, but stay with the ocean. That's one of the Buddhist saying, which is like the wave.
Are you a Buddhist? You are.
I'm a Buddhist.
All right, calm down. You don't.
I'm a fucking queen bitch.
You don't have to push it on me.
Well, what I love about Buddhism versus other religions is it's not really like, you could say you're a Buddhist if you want, but really Buddhism is more of a process. It's a philosophy more than like a faith-based thing.
Yeah.
It's a way of looking at the world.
You don't have to go to church every week.
No, you can't. There are forms of Buddhism that involve that, but it's more of a way of like looking at the world.
Do you hate the Chinese?
No.
I'm just asking. I mean,
why would I hate the Chinese? Oh, for what they did to the Tibetans?
Yeah.
Man, how can I fucking hate the Chinese if the Dalai Lama, who got run out of there by the Chinese, is like, we have to be compassionate for them?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? It's hard for me to be mad at the Chinese. It's the fucking person who's like the representative of.
All right, we'll forgive you. Duncan said we'll forgive you, China.
I'm not saying anything about the fucking China. I'm scared. To me, it's
You're scared of the Chinese?
I'm scared of any social experiment that involves any kind of authoritarian anything. Because it's like we look over there and we're like, oh, that just happened over there. But what you're looking at is a possible way of running society. So you look over there and you're like, that's one of the ways society can run. And it's actually working. Like, it's working. They have they have prison camps where people are being raped.
Yeah.
And it's working.
We have prisons where people are being raped?
Yeah, except, and all are bad. All of it's fucked up. But at least here, when we're saying this right now, that we have prison camps where people are being raped.
We're not going to get thrown in a prison camp.
Our family isn't going to get thrown in a prison camp. And we're not going to be thrown in a reconditioning facility where someone's going to sit with us and be like, hey, I heard your podcast thing about what we're doing. And I think you might be a little off. So we want to offer you 2 months. You know what I mean? We're going to take you and fix you. You might be a little sick. You might be insane that you think we're going to do that.
That's like the 50s here, 40s.
The
maybe.
Red Scare, you mean? Or like all the...
When they would take women and tell them they were nuts, put them in those homes and like electric shock and shit.
That's right.
They did it to men too, but mostly women.
Well, I mean, they told women they couldn't vote and women accepted that.
Yeah. And there was that real story. There was like a lot of them, but this one movie my mom made me watch with Angelina Jolie where they tricked her into her son was kidnapped and she was making such a stink that they were like, ugh, this lady's crazy. And then they gave her like a kid that wasn't her kid and was like, no, this is your kid. And she's like, wait, he doesn't even measure up on the wall where I was measuring my child. Like he's not even at the height and he's supposed to be 2 years later.
Yeah.
And she was like, please, this isn't my kid. I swear this isn't my kid. So they're like, oh, she's nuts. So they just put her in a fucking insane
harvesting
asylum.
Organs of prisoners,
Fucking crazy.
So like to me,
dark side.
Am I scared of the fucking Chinese? Not really, but also anytime you see like any place, I read a really creepy thing, which is like sometimes people ask, why did Hitler even happen? Like, why did people let that happen? What was it like being alive when like Hitler was like rounding up the Jews? And
were you there?
When Hitler was rounding up the Jews?
Yeah.
Not in this current incarnation, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was born in 1974.
I'm sorry.
Like the in China right now, apparently, unless we're all being like CIA mind controlled and it's not happening, but I think probably is definitely happening.
We're getting close.
You have people getting rounded up and put in camps for being Muslim. Millions, 1 million people apparently. And it's literally happening right now. And we all know it.
This country,
What in China? And we're not putting them in camps as far as I'm aware.
Aren't they at the camps on the border?
It's fucked up. But that's fucked up. But those people aren't being reconditioned.
No, they're just being like held hostage.
And it sucks. And if any kind of like oppression of anybody's fucked up. But like if you look at whenever it gets like hyper organized and societally supported, like at least with God, this awful shit happening at our borders and all that fucking shit.
There's people protesting.
People are like, no,
please stop.
No. Judges are like, no. Over there, it's like, okay, well, let's just find the ones with like good kidneys because we can sell them.
Oh, jeez.
That's happening.
To bless myself. Is that going to set you on fire?
Bless yourself. Oh, yeah, like I'm a Satanist. Well, I don't know. I love Satanists. They're really sweet, most of them I met.
Very nice people. What's one of your favorite moments here at the store, whether it be on stage or work? And is that a weird question?
No, it's a great question. Oh, fuck. One of my favorite moments.
It's so hard, right? Because it's been a long time we're here now.
I'll tell you one of my favorite moments.
Okay.
I have a lot of favorite moments here, but one of my favorite moments was, we'd sit down in the goddamn green room.
Uh-huh.
Not the green room. We'd sit down by the bar. That's where Mitzi was taking meetings.
Oh yeah, like in the kitchen.
Yeah.
In the service bar area on those white couches.
Yeah.
And you'd sit on the couch. She'd always sit on the one closest this way so she could look at herself in the mirror.
Yeah.
The best.
And
we're talking about Duncan's favorite moment here at the store.
This was a cool moment. And so we're sitting there. We're about to have some meeting. I don't know what it was. At this point in time, we're having all these weird meetings. Who knows? But it was some guy was coming with a business proposal. Some guy was it was seemingly an important meeting. There was no important meetings, but so Mitzi's prepping for the meeting with me. And this is, before she was really beginning to disintegrate mentally. And she's sharp as a fucking tack. You're sitting with a mogul. It's a mogul.
Yeah.
And it's sharp. And it's she's going, why she's letting me be a person to help strategize with her might fly in the face of her being a mogul. But in my mind, that's what she was. And she was analyzing all the angles and looking at every single thing. This guy's coming. Here's what we want. Here's what I would like to have happen. Who is he? Really just a good pre-meeting strategy session. And the guy comes in, sits down, and suddenly Mitzi just turns in to this doddering, senile person.
No.
Her head flops down.
No.
She seems out of it. She's and the guy starts condescending her and talking to me because she seems out of it. And suddenly in that space, he's showing himself. He doesn't realize he's being baited. This woman is deciding to act old and out of it to see how he reacts to that.
Find out if he's a piece of shit or not.
Yes!
Yeah.
And was
holy shit.
I saw it
I
with
didn't think
my
of that.
own eyes. And then he leaves and she's like, fuck that guy. And it's holy fuck. Did you just do that? Did you just put on some weird disguise to analyze some person and make them think you were a certain way so you could have an advantage over them? Did you just do that? And it's and then I realized oh, that's something that comes from years and years and years of running a business in this crazy industry as a woman.
Show business.
And she has learned how to camouflage herself, take on different forms in front of people to get an assessment of them that you could never get from a regular conversation. And it was the most gangster, psychedelic shit I ever saw. That was one of my favorite memories here. It was one of the coolest things to see.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
It was wild. It was wild to see. I know. I should have just been did you just act?
Yeah.
And you didn't say anything. You didn't say.
I was terrified. You're not going to be did you just act 20 years older to manipulate that weird fucking dude? But she did.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
But she would bat these guys around like they were nothing. Show, in whatever. One thing she did that was, I remember being devastated, heartbroken. I broke up, my first ex-fiance and I broke up, and he was a big, powerful booking agent. And he was going through some personal turmoil, but I would never speak on it because I wasn't going to tarnish his name. And he was respected here at the store. So it was a couple months later, and he was trying to get his shit together. Or no, maybe it was a year later. He was trying to get his shit together, and Mitzi was going to hire him. And my heart was, I was oh, fuck me. I never said a word to Mitzi about why we broke up or anything. And she interviewed him, and this guy's smart. He knows his shit. He knows comics in and out. And I'm like, I gotta quit. I gotta quit the store. And this is 96, 97. I'm like, I gotta get out. There's no way. I gotta figure something else out. And I was sitting on the back steps up by the belly room, and I was like, all right, I just gotta get my shit together. I'll work tonight, and then I'll just go find a job tomorrow. And I was putting my shit together. I was putting my makeup on in that back. You remember there was a couch back there with the mirror? And so I was putting makeup on. I was like, I'll be fine. Everything's fine. And Mitzi walked by, and she goes, oh, hey, I just met with Bill. Yeah, he's still doing drugs. I'll talk to you later.
Wow.
I never said a word. I never said a word to her.
That's so cool.
And I was just like, oh, fuck, thank God.
She knew.
Thanks for her being in. Well, I mean, maybe it would have been better if I quit.
No.
Who knows? I mean, stay here so long.
Yeah, but then you never would have met me. You know?
True, Rick.
So-
97 or
You never
Duncan
would
at
have
that
fingered
point.
Rick.
I never would have gotten finger blasted by the best.
I'm the matriarch of finger blasting. Look at Duncan. Oh, my ears are hurting from this. We've been down
That
there
was
a long
fun.
It's
time.
9,000
Rick,
degrees
how
up
was
here.
your?
It's
I know.
so
How
hot.
was your spot?
It was good.
I think I'm next in the OR. So
I
maybe.
followed Neil Brennan, and he's very likable and woke.
Okay.
And so it's a fantastic contrast, I think.
He's got some killer jokes. I gotta be
He's
honest.
very
Brennan's
funny.
a
I
great
love
joke
him.
writer, man.
Oh man, I mean, I was going to the restroom in the main room, and it was just one little bit that I heard, and I was like, "Fuck me, I gotta learn
Yeah.
how to write."
He's always been a
Every
great
time.
joke writer, but
Yeah.
he's just a great comedian now too.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing
he
him
was
first time
slaying.
like a
Oh,
dozen
yeah.
years ago and being like, "That's a funny bit." But now when I watch him, I'm like, "This dude fucking gets it."
Oh yeah, I remember him in the early days. He was
Yeah,
a
like-
good writer,
Yeah.
but like
But he was new. You don't realize he didn't
yeah,
start till
that's right.
late.
And then to see the two things like finally meet
Finally
up,
come
that's
together.
That's another thing. That's another thing you see here over
That's
time.
a beautiful thing.
Is when
to
that
see.
finally, and
Yeah.
then it's whoa, it's happening.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about with Adam about Sebastian, because he was so bad when
Yeah.
he started. It just wasn't
Yeah.
clicking. And then seeing that happen in front of your eyes
Fucking
here,
cool.
fucking insane.
I gotta get out of here, y'all.
Yeah,
Me
it's
too.
hot
I
as
think
fuck.
I lost 30 pounds on this one.
Do you have social media you want to promote?
Oh, it's
What's
at
your podcast too?
the Duncan Trussell Family Hour.
Yes, I knew it was something cute.
And my
It's
website
Illuminati
is
shit, bro.
isis.gov.
Perfect.
That's so weird.
Why?
I just started to sweat. ISIS.gov. Okay. That's
Why is
good.
that weird?
No, it's not. It's great.
Duncan took over the comedy portion when Baghdadi fucking got taken out by the evil
In
government.
China, if you're listening, if you have one of those camps, Duncan might need a little reforming.
Yeah.
Or I would like to, I'm about to go on tour again. So if you have spots
Yes.
at those camps, we should do a tour of the Chinese internment comedy store. Tour of China at the internment camp.
We'll bring Feng Chao.
Yeah,
He can
I'll-
translate
I was
for
gonna
us.
say I'll call Feng. We'll see if he can set something up.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay,
y'all.
Arana, we go. I'm
Free
never going
Hong
to
Kong. I'm burning up. I gotta
Yeah.
get out of here.
Okay,
I love you
Duncan,
guys.
I assumed you'd like it this hot. That's why we turned the heat up.
Oh, because of the devil?
Yeah.
I'm not a Satanist. I respect them, though. They're awesome.
You don't want to get on the bad side of the Satanists. And
No,
that's one
I
thing
just
I've
not
always.
that.
Thank you guys
They're
for
wonderful
listening.
people.
Duncan has got a devil worship. It's after midnight. He's going to turn into something different.
Is it
Rick
after midnight?
is
I gotta go.
mugging the camera. Come see live comedy at the
Bow.
Comedy Store. Check out Duncan's stuff. If he's in your city, go see him.
to the dark Lord.
You're going on tour soon with
Allow
her
Satan into
satanic
your
way.
life.
No, just kidding.
Come on, you guys.
We love you, Duncan. You're
Hare
the best.
Krishna.
Be
Thank-
afraid.
Hare
Figure
Krishna.
yourselves tonight, gang. Bye.
Don't be
Good night.
afraid
Go to
to get
my
finger
website
banged by the dark Lord.
to get finger banged. Thank you guys so much.
Fingerbang.edu.
It's a university.